Hello, ladies and boys and girls of YouTube, back to another YouTube video with MC Space Wolves. And today, we will be covering Spigot. That's right, today we're going to be setting up the wonderful thing called Spigot. Now, number one, there's a few steps that you need to do beforehand before you can even install or create your Spigot server, and potentially one of the greatest Minecraft servers out there. Number one, you want to make sure that you have enough space on your hard drive, as this will take up a lot of room. Number two, you want to make sure that you have a completely separate file folder, because let me tell you, this gets very messy. So if you need a new one, just hit File, New, Folder. And then what you're going to do is, of course, enter the name. Today we're just going to be doing a very simple name for it, and it's just going to be called Spigot. You can, of course, name this file whatever you want, whenever you want. So now that you've done that, you're just going to want to simply double click on it to make sure that it is completely empty. You want nothing else in this folder yet. Now you're going to head over to Spigot, spigotmc.org. There will be a link in the description down below. And you're going to want to come over here to the downloads and hit Spigot/build tools. Once you've been prompted to come to this page, you'll see a range of different things. You're going to want to click on this one right here, buildtools.jar. Upon the download, what you're going to want to do is, of course, locate that particular file or folder you just created. And you're going to want to save it directly in there. Now that you've saved buildtools.jar, before you can create, unpack, or continue, number one, you're going to want to make sure that you have the latest Java 8. So check that you have Java. I have Java. Okay. It's got to be Java 8. That's what everything runs on now. And then you're going to want to get Git for Windows. That would be git-for-windows.github.io. There will be a link to this down in the description below, and you're going to want to download. As I already have this installed on my computer, I don't need to download it, but it will download in application format or .exe, and you'll be able to simply execute this file and create, or well, install Git on your computer. Now that you have installed and downloaded all the needed features, items, and requirements, you're going to simply come over here to your folder. You're going to right click and you're going to say git bash here. Now, if we head back over here to Spigot, that's the wrong window. If we head back into here over at Spigot, we're going to hit, of course, the back button here from downloads. So you're going to want to be at spigotmc.org, again, the main page. You're going to be able to highlight this. Now, you do not have to take this section here, as it is not needed. If you just do this part here, you will get the latest version of Spigot and Bucket. However, if you want to go to a different version, you're going to need to do this and select by typing in whether it be 1.11.1, 1.12.1, 1.10.1, 1.9, 1.8.8, 1.8.3, or 1.7.10, the desired version you would like. For now, we are just going to do the latest version by simply copying this, coming over to here, right-clicking, pasting, and hitting enter. Upon doing so, the buildtools.bash, which we obviously asked for when we had said git bash here, this is what brought up this, will now begin to unfold, unpack, and download the needed sources to create Spigot. Now, I've already done this in a separate instance over here. We have the very basics. This is what you will initially see upon install. You will see Spigot 1.12.2, CraftBucket 1.12.2, Build Tools, and these following four folders. Now, your version of CraftBucket and Spigot will alter and change depending on what version of the desired build you download, whether it be 1.8.8, 1.11.11, 1.11.1, 1.10, 1.10.1, 1.9, 1.8.8, 1.8.3, and 1.7.10. Today we are going with the latest version of Spigot, 1.12.2, and now we will begin to execute the very basics. What you're going to have to do is come over to here, open this up, or, just search in the basic thing. You're going to search for Notepad. You're going to open up Notepad, and you will need to type the following. Okay. You will have to type Java dash XMX 525 capital M dash XMX, and then this is a key point right here. Depending on the amount of RAM in your current computer, this is where you will allocate the amount of RAM per instance, or per, for this particular server. So you can either go with megabytes, which will be in the thousands. So if you do 1000 megabytes, you will be doing 1 gigabyte of RAM. But if you're shooting for gigs, then you'll be able to just simply type in 4G. I do about 4G for a very average, very basic server that won't be having many players on it. But if you're running for something bigger, such as, say, you're shooting for a large faction server, I would suggest a range between 6 to 8 gigs. Now, of course, when you type this in here, you're going to want to figure out which one you want to go with. So, for now, we're just going to stick with 6 gigs, because I obviously have that amount. Now, we're going to go now for the next part. We're going to do X, or dash XX, colon, not semicolon, colon, max perm size equals 1, 2, or 128 megabytes. Now, you've set up the very basic Java argument for this. Now we want to step into the larger part, actually starting and executing the file. You're going to do dash jar, so this tells us that it's a jar file. You're going to want to select the name of your Spigot file. So this is Spigot, or Spigot dash 1.12.2, and remember, because it's looking for a file, you have to do .jar, and then hit enter, space, and now, so this will start up the very, very basic. So we'll start up, and your console, though, sadly will disappear. In order to prevent this, because obviously you need your console to continue and execute all this, you're going to have to do, of course, to enter in the space, you have to type the following word, pause. What this will do is prevent your console from disappearing upon startup. So now, what you're going to do is you need to file, save as, locate the file that you have this all saved in. So this is the name or the location of which you have placed your server. You're going to write the following: start.bat. Now, this first part located right here can be anything, but the key part to all of this is this simple .bat. .bat is an executable file in Windows. As for Mac or Linux, I cannot help you there, I apologize. But this will be the very basics to starting up your very basic Minecraft server. Now you're going to save it. It's going to save. And boom, you got a start bat. It's a Windows batch file. Now, you're just going to double click. It's going to execute some stuff. It's going to say, could not create blah, 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 blah. What the? See. Okay. If we look in here, I forgot to add that. There we go. That has been fixed. Alright, file, save, and we're going to re-execute this. And boom. See? Server, warn, ignoring option, max perm, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Start up Minecraft, loading properties, server properties does not exist, generating new properties file, failed to load EULA.x, you need to agree to the EULA. So of course, before we can continue, we have to agree to the EULA. So we're just going to set this to true. We're going to hit file, we're going to save it, and then we're going to start it up. Now, before you can continue to actually interact with your server, you're going to have to port forward. If you guys want a tutorial on how to port forward, there will be a few links in the description below, and I will of course do my own personal port forwarding tutorial later on for Netgear. As of right now, I have my ports port forwarded. So I have ports 25565 open in order to be seen across all of Minecraft. So anyone, as long as they have your IP address, will be able to access it. Now since we're playing on a local machine though, we do not have to go through the external port in order to access your Minecraft server. So to show that this works perfectly fine, we're just going to start up Minecraft right here. We're going to wait for it to load, and we're going to hit play. Now obviously if you're the owner of the server, you're going to want to opt yourself. So I'm just going to ahead of time do opt MC Balls Wolves and my account has now been opt. Wait for this to load up, and we can just exit out of here, and we're just going to look in here. So multiplayer, I got my, you're going to hit add server, and you're going to type in localhost. So what this means is that it will locate or connect you to the server running on your PC right now. This is just basic 20 players, log in, and boom. See, Minecraft, just basic Minecraft. You got some few things, you know, all commands for bucket, Minecraft all commands for alias. So you see right here, we got some very basic stuff going on here. Oh, my ping's even low. So this is, you know, very basic, very nice, I think. Anyways, we're gonna disconnect now, and we're gonna go over some of the very basic configuration files. Right here we have the whitelist. In here, what this does is this provides you the ability to whitelist players. This will also show a list of the whitelisted people. Now, if you're going to whitelist something, I suggest doing it in the console and not typing it out here, as it would be very difficult and very hard. But when it comes to removing someone from the whitelist that has changed their username, it's easy because you're able to come in here and they are separated by individual players. So what I'll do right now is I'll do the following: whitelist add MC Wolves, whitelist add golden underscore wizard. So we've added 2 people to the whitelist. We open it up, and it has the following: it has the UUID of the player, and it has their username. Now say that I don't want golden wizard whitelisted on the server anymore. What I'm able to simply do is select from here to here and remove that player. Now we only have 1 player in our whitelist. Simply hit the save button, exit, and you're done. Now the user cache, that's not really something you need to go into. We obviously have our start, we have our spigot, we have our spigot settings. Later on we'll do another tutorial on the spigot settings as far as it goes for, say, bungee cord. But for now we're just going to look into the basic spigot settings. Or looking through when we got the restart script. Obviously here, this is what happens if your server restarts. In order to start, in order for this to be activated, what you do is the following. Ours is just named it start.bash. So we're just going to change this to .bat file, okay? Now, in the instance that you have it named something else, like Minecraft start.bat, you would simply come over here and type in the initial name. So Minecraft.bat or start.bat. What this means is that when your server restarts, whether it be a /restart or your server crashes in the instance that it's overloaded by TNT because you don't have a plugin protecting that, your server will automatically restart through this without the need of your help, without your hand. Now, this is the basic things that you will see. Whitelist. You are not whitelisted on this server. Unknown command. The server is full. Outdated client. Outdated server. And then it'll just basically tell you server is restarting. So these are the basic messages which you're allowed to edit. Here's the commands. So tab complete 0, silent command console false, log true, spam exclusion /skill, replace command set block, summon tester block, and tell raw. Advancements: disable saving false. Disabled Minecraft store disable. I don't really know what this means. And these are just the basic world settings for your Minecraft world. Now that you've done here, and you've come in, you've edited it how you would like. Obviously, in order to run Bungee, you have to turn the bungee cord mode to true, but we'll go over that in a different part, a different section, different series, I should say. Well, no, same series. That's some other stuff. Now we get into the server. So the server is a very original Minecraft server properties. This is something that if you were to go to Minecraft.net and download the initial server, you'd have. Okay, so these are your very, very basic Minecraft server settings. Obviously, you can set the max world size. You can set the level type, allow fly, enable query, which I don't know if you want to do that. And then you got your MOTD, your allowed view distance, your max players, your default game mode, your default difficulty, if you want to enable PvP, your resource pack, and whether the server will be online. Online mode essentially says, hey, you need to talk to Minecraft.net to ensure that the player that's logging on is actually this player, and it's not a hacked account. I would suggest this unless you're using your server for stuff like unofficial accounts. I would suggest using this. Of course, when you run Bungee Cord, you do not need this because Bungee Cord will do all the authenticating for the authentication servers for you. Now over here we have permissions. This will be blank. You don't need to write anything in there. We got ops. So this will have a list of all your opt people. In here you can do bypass player limit. So what this means is essentially, if this is set to true, if my server is full of 20 people, I will be excluded. So that means that I can log on without accounting to that initial 20 players. So I can bypass the limit of players on my server, jumping into 21. But if someone else tries to log on and the limit has been met, they won't be able to log on unless they have this set to true. Pretty basic to understand. Help, the EULA, the end user license, you got the bucket, you got commands, you got the banned players and the banned IPs, which just has a list of that. You got your first 3 initial worlds, world nether, world end, and world. You got work, which is just don't mess with that. You got Spigot, and then you got plugins. Plugins is very big. In plugins is where you add all your plugins. Okay, obviously. In here you won't just find your plugins, but you'll also find your plugin settings. So this means if you download Essentials, if you download World Edit, World Guard, Multiverse, anything, any plugins you download will have a file located in here. This will provide their configs and settings. Then we got logs, which just keeps a log of all the information that has happened. You got your craft bucket, which just has stuff on craft bucket. You got your build data, and this, which is just some stuff. Now we've hit the very basic points of this. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what else you can do. Now, this is a very, very basic GUI. It's just console, Windows System 32 console. This is okay, except for when you're running 12 servers on Bungee Cord, or you're running 8 servers, or just even running 3 servers on Bungee Cord. Trying to manage this many consoles and having them auto restart is a pain. So here's what you can do instead. A great program that I personally run, and I'll have to do a completely separate tutorial on, is MC Server Soft 10. There's different versions. I'm running the 10 version right now. This is my servers, okay? On here, I am able to start my servers, control my servers, edit their settings, go into the console, see what servers I've added, see my toolbox, which allows me to edit the configuration, read the logs, trash the logs, and see what's wrong with my startup. It also has an automatic updating system located in this. What does this mean? It means that my Minecraft server will be able to automatically update. By simply clicking the workspace button in this, you're able to, of course, access your workspace area. I'll go a little more in depth on this in a later video as to what's so great about this, and how you are able to use this to your advantage later on down the line. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of YouTube, it's been great to help you with this. This has been a fantastic video. We've hit all the basic points. We've hit the very needs, necessities of this. And in the next episode, we will go over what plugins I highly suggest and I believe are very needed for any Minecraft server that's running a Spigot add-on. Thank you. I hope to see you guys in the next video.